What's good, y'all? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome. Happy Wednesday, man. It's hump day, man. How y'all feeling out there, bro? How y'all feeling? Hope all is well on your end. It's good over here. No real issues. Just setting up for the show. And we're going to talk about family court, or what I like to call them, anti-family court. Bro, you guys are out here, man. You're learning how to, get your womanizing game up. You're learning how to mess around out here and do your thing. Bro, you want to stay out of family court. They are not there for you. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. So we're gonna have this conversation. I've talked about this before, and I'll be talking about this in the future. I guarantee it. A lot of guys who go from the bottom 80 and they stop being invisible to women because they've done the work. They're getting their physical fitness together, right? They're getting their body together. They're getting their money together. They're getting their mind right, and women see them. And they're doing their thing, and Mother Nature takes over, and bam, you're going to smash. And a lot of people like, man, make sure you wear condoms and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm here to tell you, bro, after, at first, a lot of guys will be like really cautious, but like, I got to make sure I wrap it up. I got to make sure this, I got to make sure that. But at the end of the day, we are not that far removed from our cave dwelling ancestors. When it comes to that, when you're with a woman that you find absolutely stunningly beautiful and everything is going well, bro, I'm telling you, you're gonna take a chance. You're gonna roll the dice, man. You are going to roll the dice. You're gonna run up in there raw. You're gonna shoot up the club. You are going to do it. You're gonna shoot up the club. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Some people fall in love and they get married and whatnot, and they do all that and they have kids and all that. And bro, you might find yourself in family court. And what you need to do is avoid that at all costs. Right. So, but yeah, man, when you guys go from being invisible to talking to the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, and she's saying everything, she's running her game, you're running your game, and she's like, let's go. She wants to smash. You're gonna be doing your thing, bro. I'm telling you. Either you're not gonna wrap it up initially, or you're gonna run out of condoms or something. It happens. It happens. The way humans are built, bro, that instinct to reproduce is there, man. It feels good. It's people just want to do it. It is what it is. Be careful. Be careful. Now, if you find yourself in family court, depending on, your financial status and what's going on, it could really hurt. Contrary to popular belief, the family court system doesn't care about gender. They only want to know who has the money, because they're going to take the money from the person who has it and they're going to give the money to the person who does not. That's how it works. And the whole time they're going to be telling those people that we're doing what's in the best interest of the child. They could care less about the child. They don't know the child. They don't know you. They don't know the other person. You're just money to them. And divorce and the family court system is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars. So just prepare yourself, man. It's part of the game. And don't cry if it happens to you. If you get caught up, you're the one who did what you did. Don't cry about it. You're the one that went up in there raw and shot the club up, or you're the one who's trying this pull-out game and it didn't work, or you're the one who got married and had the kids. Yo, no one fooled you, and you know how the system works. And we're going to talk about the system right now. So shout out to MTR, Mediocre Tutorials and a Review. He has a video, and we're going to react to it. Title of the video, Woman Requests Child Support, but Kids Stay with Dad. This is a good video, and this is pretty much standard. I think this is taking place in Colorado. In the Colorado court. I'm not familiar with Colorado laws Every state is different. But we're gonna watch this, and this is gonna be eye opening to some people, bro. That's why I'm always telling guys, they're talking about they want to do this, they want to get married, they're messing with women, and I'm like, well, how much money do you make? What's your net worth? Like, if you're a brokey, go out there and get it, right? If they can't take blood from a stone, bro, they can't get what you don't have. But if you do have a nice career, if you do have money put away, if 401k or some sort of retirement plan, if you have a lot of real estate holdings and a nice stock portfolio and all that kind of stuff, you need to structure. Structure is the word for you. You need to structure your wealth in such a way that they can't get to it. And if you don't structure it in such a way, then the courts are going to come after you. They're going to come after that money, because it's not just for her. They're taking the monies for them as well. So, and then you have to pay attorneys and their attorney fees, and there's all sorts of stuff that goes on in this thing, man. And it's horrible. It's horrible. Again, it's not a gender bias. If she has all the money and everything, like if you can run up on a Jennifer Lopez, for instance, who was recently single, you know what I mean? Holla at me, J-Lo. If you can run up on a Jennifer Lopez, bro, get her to marry you. And if she doesn't have you sign a prenup, or even if she does have a prenup, just look at how much money she's gonna give you to break up with her. Right? If you get someone like Jennifer Lopez, bro, you get her to not sign a prenup and get married to you, and you marry her and stay married to her for about 7 years, bro, you walking away with money. They're gonna make her pay all kind of alimony. If you get married to a woman like that, and let's say that she's a little bit younger and she has kids, you have so she has kids and you have the kids, and she's out doing her Hollywood A-list thing, and you're taking care of the kids, and you're at home providing a stable environment for the child or children, and then you decide to get divorced, bro, you get in that house. You get in that house, you're getting a ton of money for child support, and you're going to get alimony, especially if there was no prenup. So this goes both ways. J-Lo knows this, Kelly Clarkson knows this, Halle Berry knows this. There are tons of celebrities who have figured this out. So there are a lot of wealthy women out there in the corporate world who have figured this out. They go and they think, well, I'm going to get everything. And they're like, no, nope. Dad is home watching the kids. He's provided a stable environment for these children. The children are used to dad. We're going to keep dad in that house, and you're going to pay for that house. And you're going to be paying child support, and you're going to be paying for all of the school stuff and healthcare needs. And you're going to be giving dad some money in alimony. That's how it works. A lot of ladies are seeing this now, and they're like, oh my goodness. I do believe there's going to be some sort of change to the family court system, to that structure, because women are beginning to be adversely affected by this. I think there's going to be some sort of change. I think you're going to see more and more states implement caps, because a lot of these child support orders are just outright ridiculous. They're going to, we know how much it costs to raise a child anywhere in America. But you can get a child support order that will order you to pay 10 times that amount. We know it. We know this money is just going to the other adult. It's not going to the children. You got places like Texas who have caps. You got places like Florida, the state of Florida, where it's a default 50-50 custody thing. Because in most states, in order to get the maximum amount of child support, you need to have the majority of custody of that child. So if you can push that other parent out of the picture, you're going to max out on child support. That shouldn't be a thing. That gives every incentive for people to take a parent away from the child, and that's wrong. And then again, it goes against what the court says. We're doing what's in the best interest of the child. Why are you taking the parent away? How is that in the best interest of the child? Right? We have the data on that. We know that children that come out of single parent homes do worse than children that come out of, traditional 2-parent households. So, this is the thing. So shout out to MTR. We're going to watch a little bit of this video and let you guys get a look-see at how the system works. Again, this is Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the laws are like in Colorado. And even watching this, it's different than California. But, every state does it differently. So this might be eye-opening for some, and this might be just, par for the course for others. A lot of people have gone through this process. Yeah, guys, be careful. As you level up, as you figure it out, as you become attractive to women, as you go from being invisible to women seeing you, You need to be thinking about this on the back end. This is all the more reason why you want to make sure you're using some sort of protection, because you can find yourself in this situation, and I'm here to tell you it sucks. Beyond the court, beyond the hearings, just because you won't have access to your children, it sucks.
What the children told me was because I'm working so much during the week that they don't want to be here during the week because I'm not even here. And I was like, you do realize that I'm busting my butt so I can provide for you guys to have a home to come home to. I'm doing this for you. And why am I getting punished?
The more that I cover real life family court cases, the more that I begin to understand that not only is child support a damn scam in this country, but also how men are just so unfairly treated within the family court system. Be sure that you can watch the entirety of this video as a learning lesson so that you guys become more up to speed with how you can be taken advantage of. See, we were all taught that the harder that we work, the more consistent that we work, the more disciplined that we work at things, the better that life or society will treat us. But it's just not the case. But the video in question is about a child support hearing for a couple who's been separated for about 6 months. They are the parents of 2 boys, aged 16 and 17. The mother works part-time, earning $12 per hour, while the father is full-time employed, making $80,000 a year. Huge.
You see what I was talking about before? Whoever makes the money, they're going to take the money from that person and give it to the other person. This happens all the time. The number one thing about family court, especially when it comes to custody, you want to have an attorney with you. You want an attorney. Don't worry about what the other person is doing. You need an attorney, especially for the initial hearing. You need an attorney because once they write these orders, once the orders are written, it's really hard to change them, right? So whatever it costs, whatever you can afford, get the best attorney you can afford for the custody matters. This is very important, guys. If you find yourself before, in the family court system, before a judge, you need to make sure you have an attorney. Do not go pro se. Don't do it. Don't do it. And what MTR was saying about men, yeah, they don't care about gender when it comes to assigning guardianship, custodial parentship, and when it comes to the money, when it's like, okay, how much child support is going to be? They don't care about gender then. But men do get treated harshly in most cases. At least I saw that. I saw that in California, right? Men do get treated harshly. There was an instance where, because I used to go into the court and just watch. You can do that in most states. You can just, if you have time, just go in there and watch. And I was going through the process and I wanted to get a feel for the judge. So I would just sit there and watch the cases. And I was watching this one case where the judge was angry with the father in this case and was, you could tell she was mad. She was about to light him up. She was going on and on about, it was like 3 or 4 filings that was made. 3 or 4 filings. And the guy's just standing there confused as shit. He has no idea what this judge is talking about. It's a female judge. He had no idea. And the judge was like, no, you filed this, and this. She's naming the things that the judge is looking at and just assuming that the guy filed. And the guy was like, I didn't do that. And it was the woman across the aisle who was like, oh, I filed all those things. This woman was being given every consideration. They were just taking whatever she said for granted. That wasn't good enough for her. She went ahead and filed some things against the court, against the judge. And that judge just assumed that it was the dude that did it. And the guy was like, look, I'm just here trying to get my kid. I'm just here trying to co-parent. And that judge attitude shifted immediately. Once she realized it was the woman who did it, she wasn't angry anymore. She stopped, with the negativity towards the guy. She didn't redirect the negativity towards the woman. That's what MTR is talking about. Hey, you do get that. Men will find themselves in a defensive position and just catching all kind of hell. Even when, especially when you representing yourself. When you got an attorney there, it's different. The attorney's taking care of business. The attorney's doing all the talking. You just got to sit there. And, the judges, they might still have that animosity towards the male, but you won't feel it. It's not directed at you because your lawyer is your shield. Lady Navoa's in the building. What's good, sis? Good evening to you. Yeah, I'm just out here living my life. Yeah, with my F and F buddies. I'm working out with them. we're trying to do some good things. They're building a network that men need. Is a network we're all, reaching out to men across the globe, actually, and trying to help them become the best version of themselves, helping them out with that, meeting some real good dudes, working hard, working hard, trying to help them set this thing up. And so far, so good. We're over 20 cities. We're in 5 countries, and it's growing. So, shout out to the Fresh and Fit city groups. Shout out to the Fresh and Fit city groups, which is part of their Castle Club membership thing. That's through Locals, that's through Rumble. So I've been doing that, but also, school's in, and my daughter's first year of high school, and I'm like all excited about that and figuring stuff out for that. And I'm just enjoying it. So it's good to see you. It's always good to see you. So let's get back to what brother MCR is talking about.
Discrepancy in pay, and as we're about to see, a huge discrepancy in life effort. But pay close attention to the difference in how the father is treated in comparison to the mother. Without further ado,
raise your right hands. You will swear or affirm any testimony you give in this cause be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. And have the two of you had a chance to work any of this out?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
I was just gonna say we were trying, but it ain't equal, and that's all I want.
Okay. I guess, ma'am, what are you requesting, and why are you requesting that?
With the separation, the boys have been able to make the choice on where they wanted to stay and stuff. And it started out as 50-50. And we were doing like every couple days, trying to figure it out. At first, we didn't know really what we was doing. And then it was every week with me and then a week off, and then right after the whole child support stuff was served to him, I don't feel that he necessarily made them choose to not come with me because of the money situation, but I feel that because of his feelings towards it, they've felt that if they come here less, he don't have to pay as much.
So y'all hear that right off rip, right? So it looks like that this woman filed for child support after a separation. They have 50-50 custody, or they was trying to do that as best they can, trying to co-parent and work it out with themselves. And the children prefer to spend more time with dad than with mom. And one of the things I want to point out too here, dudes, like, listen, y'all, if you're going to go out here and just be seen by women and do your thing, yo, man, choose wisely, bro. Like, especially as a guy, I'm looking at this woman. She has on makeup. She has her hair done. She's looking her best right now. And bro, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the guy. He's, see, he has a few extra pounds. He looks younger. They could be roughly the same age, but she looks way older than he does. She's looking her best. He's just sitting there with a hat on. Bro, this is what happens when you're an invisible man and you wind up just talking to whatever you can talk to. Right? Who knows how long they've been in a relationship? Maybe they've been in a relationship over 10 years. Well, they've been in a relationship for at least 18 years because they're 17. The oldest is 17, about to be 18. So they've, spent a lifetime together. And she probably was kind of cute. She probably was like maybe a 6 with her makeup on when they met. Now you look at her with makeup on, she's like a 3. Right? And here's the thing. He's not the one that probably initiated the breakup. He's not the one that initiated the breakup. Now, she really just didn't age that well. And this is not just to beat up on this woman. I'm just pointing it out. Maybe she's a cigarette smoker. Maybe she's a heavy drinker. Maybe she does, worse. Because you look at him, he looks very vibrant, very youthful. And you look at her, she looks very old. If someone were to tell me that woman was like the aunt or mother of this dude, I would say, oh, okay. I would believe it. Like, oh, where's the wife then? Like, where's mom? So guys, be sure, be sure y'all are choosing wisely. Leia Novoa, yeah, like Myron and Fresh are cool. I've known them for, over 3 years. The whole Kevin Samuels thing, that was, it's not for me to put that out there, but let's just say, it wasn't Myron and Fresh. All right. It wasn't Myron and Fresh. That whole KS thing, it wasn't Myron and Fresh. And I know for a fact, they were bothered by, when Kevin died, especially Myron. Myron was real troubled by that because he didn't get an opportunity to kind of make everything right. He wanted to sit down and talk with Kevin and work everything out. And it was the same, like even like Donovan Sharp was involved. Like they were all trying to work with KS. So a lot of that was not Myron and Fresh. What was going on with Kevin saying was a lot of that wasn't Donovan Sharp. A lot of that was Kevin. People move the way they move. It is what it is. I ain't mad. It's just how it works. Kevin Samuels was out there for a long time, putting in a lot of work to get where he was. And then we lost him. And it's just, you hate to see that when someone works so hard to finally get somewhere, they pull themselves all the way up, they create a lane, they have a brand, and then whammo, you get called home. So it's like crazy, but yeah. And love MTR, but sometimes he can be petty and not hear a damn thing from a woman, no matter what. She will be a part of the all women type of category. Sometimes he do, but more so, yeah. I know a little bit about MTR, and I've seen, especially on this thing, like he is definitely he's like not happy with the system. To my knowledge, I don't think he's ever had to deal with it. I don't think he has kids. I don't know his personal life like that. I know he was working with Mel King for a little bit. I know they all went over to the UK. They were kind of working with just Pearly things and all that. And then Pearl started working with that Nick dude, that racist dude. So MTR had to shut that down, and rightly so. But that's pretty much the extent of what I know about MTR in that world or whatever. But yeah, people out here doing their thing. Brother Pablo's in the building. What's good, brother? See you. So yeah, fellas, if you're gonna go out here, if you're gonna, choose a woman, don't lock down the very first woman. Go out here and figure it out. Go out here and talk to some different women. But this dude obviously fell in love with her right away, started a family, and they were doing their thing. And at least 17 years, maybe longer. And here they are in the family court system.
And so now they only want to come on just weekends.
So they split up. They were doing 50-50 custody. It was all working well. And then she hit him with child support, which is insane. You're already seeing each other 50-50. You've worked out the arrangement. You pay their expenses 50% of the time, and then he pays their expenses 50% of the time. But instead, you hit him up for child support because and I know that it's life support, which is already an indication of your character, which your kids probably already can understand from the decisions that you made within your life, which is why they like to choose to hang out with the father more than you.
And that's what I just...
And a lot of that happens, when people say, oh, it's 50-50, it's rarely 50-50 financially. Rarely is it that way. You have people out there who know how to co-parent, and they come together and they make it work, especially for the children. And, then you have people like this, you have a situation where, you're still a human and you're dealing with little humans who have their own opinion and the two kids in this situation, they're damn near grown. So, when people do things, the kids pay attention. I got a friend of mine who pays for everything. It's a 50-50 split, but this guy pays for the insurance. He pays for all, anything that the child needs, he pays for. Anything, outside of the insurance stuff, outside of braces, clothes, expenses like for, travel or, going to hang out with friends or whatever, any, activities. Like the dude is paying for everything. The child needs something, she goes to her dad, can I have this? You know what I mean? So the dude is paying for everything. And once the guy he just kind of was like, I'm sick of this. It's like, it turns around, I got to pay for this, I got to pay for that, I got to do this, I got to do that, whatever. We're supposed to be 50-50 here. So goes to the mom, is like, hey, this thing is coming up. It costs this much money. Your half is this, go ahead and shoot me, let me know when you can have your half ready. And then the mom was like, I ain't paying you nothing. What do? You go to court? What are you going to do? And the child sat there and watched it. Child was watching. These kids know what's going on. It locks in their brain. So as they grow, as they're aging, they know what's right and what's wrong, and they'll like, man, that's not cool. If that's mom or dad, it doesn't matter. Like, that's not cool. You're not doing this. That's not fair. You're not sharing. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Kids remember. And then as they get older, they get more freedom to choose which household they want to be in. They're probably going to choose to be with the more stable household. And when that happens, what do people want to do? What a lot of women want to do? They want to run the court and get the court to force the kids to be with one parent, the parent that they don't really want to be around. And not only do they get that, but the court is also going to take money, right, and give it to that parent. And that's what this is all about. It's like I'm gonna file paperwork to go to court just so I could do this, that, and the third. Brother Jack Black's in the building. What's good? Yeah, get back to studying, man. You shouldn't be in here, man. You got stuff you got going on, man. Those classes move fast. So get back to studying. Matter of fact, you should be testing out this Friday. Whatever course you in, whatever y'all got going on, you should be testing out this Friday, man. So definitely check it out, Team Replay, man. Shout out to you, bro. Brother Jack is in air traffic control school right now. He's at the FAA Air Traffic Controller Academy learning how to be a controller. I'm so proud of him. Just about a month or so. I think it's about a month or so, maybe a month and a half. He'll be done with that and he'll be going to his facility. So man, I'm so happy for him, bro. He just has no idea how his life has changed forever. So shout out to him. And Brother Pablo, like, he's paying alimony too for the rest of her life unless she gets married, which she wouldn't because of the alimony. Yeah, he might be looking at alimony. I don't know how I don't know how Colorado works, but this hearing is for child support only. There's going to be a second hearing for alimony. And in this particular case, they haven't even filed for divorce yet. So when that happens, there's definitely going to be alimony involved. But at least he won't be paying both. Because by that time, both kids will be grown. He won't be paying alimony and child support. And I don't know how alimony works because I refuse to get married, and because I'm not going to do something like that unless she makes a whole lot of money. If you ever see a ring on my finger and you hear me talking about how I just got married, trust and believe that woman is a baroness. Like, that woman is a Rothschild or some shit. It's the only way I'm going to do it. It's the only way I'm going to do it. Because if it goes bad, I don't have to worry about anything. She's not going to come after me, and I'm not going to come after her. Like, all right, it didn't work out. That's fine. But I'm not going to marry someone who has less than I do. I'm not going to marry someone where I'm doing way better than they are, because that person more than likely will come after you for alimony and anything else they can get. So let's continue.
Just want 50-50, you know what I mean? I want half the time with my children.
All right. And sir, what are your thoughts?
I told the boys it's up to them. They're 17, 16, Ty's almost 18. I said it's completely their choice. Wherever they want to be, if they want to be with their mom, they want to be with here, whenever they want to go, it's all up to them. I went through it as a kid. I know how it kind of sucks for them. So I just try to make it easy as possible. It had nothing to do. What I did do is when I got the child support, I sat down and told them that I was going to go for full support, but they still had, or full custody, but they still had the right to go there whenever they wanted to.
So this is where this dude went wrong. Like, if you get served papers and you got to go into the family court system, you need to have an attorney. You must have an attorney. This guy's walking in blind to a system that could just split him wide open. He has no idea what he's walking into. He is the guy who's earning. He knows he's the higher earner than she is. Right? If it was a case where they both were just brokies, this judge or whoever this dude is wouldn't even care. Because there's no money in that. They wouldn't care. There's no attorneys here. There's no lawyers involved. They paid their fees to get before this guy. If they were brokies, he's not trying to extend that out. They're going to be talking about another case. Like, oh, I got you on the calendar for such and such. And even the woman was like, yeah, I thought y'all were going to combine them. The lawyers would have had that happen. They would have combined them and did it all at the same time. But this dude, it's like, yeah, come on in here. That's more money. That's more money. So make sure if you get served papers to go to really any court, but family court, you want an attorney. It's just like going into the criminal law system, bro. You want an attorney. The only difference is in the criminal law system, if you can't afford an attorney, they will appoint you one. They're not appointing you nothing in the family law system, which is horrible. I mean, I think the way we do it is just bad. It's just bad all the way around. It shouldn't be a court. It shouldn't be a judge. It shouldn't be precedent. This makes a mockery of our legal system because there's no justice in the family law court. There's no justice at all, right? People get run over all the time. Women get hurt, men get hurt, the children get hurt. There is no justice over there. It shouldn't be considered court. They shouldn't be wearing robes. Like this guy ain't wearing a robes, gown, or suit. It should be just bean counters and spreadsheets. When you go get a custody hearing, it should be default 50-50. Y'all getting 50-50 custody unless there's some sort of legal issue, which would be handled by the criminal court system. Like if there's some sort of legal thing, some criminal thing, like someone's been abusive or something like that, that goes over to criminal court. But if you're over here in family, over here in the family side, it should just be, it should just be someone, I don't know what you would call them. Like you would just, call them an auditor. Like you come before the auditor. They're going to sit here and just run through all your stuff. And they're not going to ask you to bring nothing. We don't need you to bring anything. We're getting everything from the feds. We're getting everything from the state. Whatever we need, your bank statements, we're going to have all that. That should be part of the filings. Once you make the filings, they pull all this information. They get your bank statements, like for maybe a year, 6 months to a year, bank statements, right? And people are like, well, how do you know what banks they have? It's in their name, right? It's in their name, right? And if it's not in their name, they can't touch it anyway. So if the woman is using her mother's account, they can't use that. But they will. There are ways that they can draw that in there if they can prove that. Well, this person is taking care of everything. But I don't want to get too deep in the woods on it. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be legal. Nothing. It shouldn't be called court. It shouldn't be a law thing because it makes a travesty of justice. Like what you see, what goes on in family court. Everyone is lying. This woman is lying in this thing. I just want equal access to my child. You have equal access to your children. You working. Well, I shouldn't have to work this hard. Well, who's going to take care of you if you ain't working? Well, I don't think it's fair that I got to work hard and I don't get to see them. Get a different job, right? Make more money. She's lying. She's in here. She's trying to say, well, he's making all his money and I shouldn't have to work as much and I should take some of his money so I can spend time with my children. I think that's bogus. That's absolute bullshit, but let's continue.
That had no implement on them. It's all their decision.
So is it your plan to fight for full custody then, or just allow the children to choose where they're going to go?
Well, I thought when I talked to the district, I think it's the district attorney, the lady up at the courthouse, she said that would be the only way to make it so that I didn't have to pay the child support, even being 50-50, because they had me paying like 74%, even though the kids were here half the time. And I didn't think that was fair. So I just asked her how I could get, how would that work? And, when they turn 18, does that stop? And she said something about if they're in school. I don't know the whole law about it.
You hear what he just said? I don't know the whole law. I don't know the rules to this game. I'm just here to play. You need to understand the rules. Same thing when we talk about dating, right? Like you guys are in the bottom 80 trying to work your way up and you want to get into the situation where you can date women and women find you attractive. You still need to understand the rules of the game, how the dating scene is working today, right? With online dating and with social media and with the way women are thinking, like what kind of guys they're after. If you want to be successful and you want to win the game, you got to understand the rules. This guy walks in, doesn't understand anything. And I guess in Colorado, the prosecutor's office is somehow involved in these matters, which again, I don't know what's going on in that state, but he's like, yeah, I talked to the woman at the court and she's telling me X, Y, and Z. And it doesn't sound like he really understands. And what the woman was probably trying to explain to him is that even at 50-50 custody, you could still pay child support, which is true if you make way more than the other person. So like an only way to minimize the amount of money you pay in child support is you need to get more custody. So if it's 80-20, you're going to pay less. You will still pay something, but it's going to be less. Why? Because the amount of money you pay in child support is based on how much time the children spend with you. Again, in this country, we monetize children, which is horrible. That's evil. That shouldn't even be a thing. That should be illegal. Right? So in this situation, it's 50-50 custody. They're recently split. She got to keep the house and all this other kind of stuff. And he's out here. Then he went and found himself a job and he's paying all the bills. And on top of that, they want him to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of $400 a month per kid, like $800 a month to the mom. Why? Because she doesn't like the fact that she has to work and that takes away from time with the kids. And again, we're talking about a kid who's 16 and a kid who's about to be 18. They ain't kids, right? So she's just looking at really 2 years of child support on one kid and maybe 6 months of child support on the other. And they're still going to spend all their time with dad. Even if she's going to get this child support order, which it looks like she is, they're still going to spend the majority of their time with their dad. Like, I don't want to be over moms. Why? Because they don't like her attitude. They're grown.
That's the way I was. So
They had you paying 74%. 74% of what?
of everything. I have insurance on them, and then I had to pay, I think it was $400 and some dollars a child per month. And in the paperwork that I got served, it said that I was going to pay 76% of all costs and child support, and Candy had to pay 24%, I think it was.
Oh, that's just the uncovered medical expenses. That's not that doesn't have anything to do with the base child support amount. That's just the.
And this guy, like, you're sitting in the system, the dude knows exactly what he's getting at. They're just fucking with him. They know what you're trying to say, but this is a legal proceeding and everything is recorded. So they have to play the game again. And it's on dude for not knowing. He ain't the only one. He's not the only one, bro. I've gone in there pro se and got wrecked. You walk into a buzzsaw and then you spend 3 times, sometimes 4 times as much money going to get an attorney to clean it all up for you. And sometimes they can't clean it up. So it just kind of sits there in limbo, and just all this money, it just accumulates and builds up and builds up. It's a horrible system. It's an absolutely horrible system. And Brother Pablo, yeah, you could call it whatever you want to call it, auditor, arbitrator, referee. You could call it whatever. The thing is, it shouldn't be judged. It shouldn't be a legal proceeding in the same sense that it is in the criminal law system. They should take all that out. It should be, all right, y'all got kids, 50-50 custody. How are we going to do this? Is it going to be week on, week off, 2-3-2? You know what I mean? What are we going to do? That, and then money really shouldn't come into play. If you got a parent who can't afford to support that child, all right, this parent can't afford groceries because they don't make enough money. So, hey, other parent, are you willing to, buy groceries for your kid? That's how it should be. You shouldn't be taking money from one person and give it to another person and then not even track the money. And that's one of the biggest things with child support. There is no mandate anywhere that I'm aware of in America that they track the money being spent by the other parent. The other parent could go shopping, partying, take trips, and neglect the child. And there's no real mechanism that I'm aware of that you can fight against that. Like if neglect becomes criminal, then yeah, you can bring in the police and social workers and they can do that through the criminal law system, but they're not gonna take the child support. So like if someone's getting $30,000 a month in child support, they should have to show what they're spending that money on for the child. But they don't do that. Now, there are ways, at least in California, you can request that the child support money is placed on a debit card kind of thing, and the judge can order the other parent to use that card whenever they're spending for the child. So whenever they're buying, groceries or formula or clothes or entertainment or whatever they're doing, they're using that card and you can see where the money is going. You can make that request, but that's not, that's not SOP, which I think it should be. Let's continue.
The amount of medical, if there are uncovered medical expenses like copays and deductibles and things like that aren't covered by insurance, that's just your split of that stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that because on the whole document, it said they broke it down per kid. And
yeah.
So, and I already had medical on him, so that's why I didn't understand.
So the father was already paying 74% of everything, and he wanted to go for full custody to pay less in child support. I mean, the kids seem to be with him most of the time anyway. So to be giving her $800 per month minimally is absurd. But this absurdity is not reflected in this Michael Page's fellow's demeanor whatsoever. I don't know if this guy is the judge, if he's a district attorney. I don't know. But he's pathetic.
Oh, does that cover everything?
Yeah, my medical's really good at this company. So, I mean, it covers everything. It's like a $10 copay for everything.
All right. How did the PA's office get involved in the first place?
Because when we separated, I had the house and I was only working part-time jobs, so I had to apply for assistance. So they did all that.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to stick it. You don't have the house. I mean, I still pay for the lawyer and all the payments and stuff.
you left the house and I had to resume all responsibilities, the bills and everything is what I meant. Everything was getting ready to be shut off. I had to have help getting that paid.
So she has the
I
house.
lost my job in, was it November? I think it was. And so I got behind on the bills. We got into our situation. And then, you know, it wasn't a good situation. So I went to stay with my mother for a little bit.
And there it is right there, guys. It seemed like everything was, you know what I mean, okay until he lost his job. So maybe things were kind of rough or whatever, but hey, she's probably like, well, I got my stability. We got the house. We're stable here. He's paying the bills. We got the kids or whatever. And then he loses his job, right? The economy is messed up. It's rough. They're out there in Colorado, who knows where. He loses his job. Okay. Now it's a problem. Okay. Now you can't support us. You can't provide. You got to go. They fight. He leaves. And she's like, forget him. And okay. And she's like, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm going to take care of business. I'm going to be independent. I'm going to be my own woman. Okay, fine. Then he goes and gets another job. He has another career. Now he's bringing in some bread, you know, somewhere to the tune of $80,000 a year. Oh, I need to have my money now. And you're going to hear later on, they're going to be talking about how they were trying to reconcile. Like, oh, we're trying to make it work. I think he was trying to make it work. Again, be telling women, dudes fall in love for real, right? Dudes really fall in love. Women, to a lot of women, not all, but a lot of women, it's just an opportunity, right? It's like, oh, well, you know, it's, you hate to see it, but it is. And you look at her and she's like, kick him out. Get out. So he lost his job. He's no value to her. Get out. I'm keeping the kids. I'm staying in the house and all this. Didn't work out in her favor. Now she's salty. And it's like, well, we're going to go to court. We're going to go to court. It's like, damn, why are we in court? Because he's taking care of his sons. He's paying the bills. He's paying legal fees. He's probably paying like the mortgage. She might be paying for utilities or something like that. He's paying for all this stuff, but she wants more. Well, she's saying, I don't think it's fair that I got to work. And because I have to work, I lose time with the boys. Huh? Get a different job, work different hours. What are you talking about? Drive Uber. She's not even making any real money. And by the way, if she wins this order over the next 3 years, this guy's looking at paying $30,000, basically $10,000 a child. And he's going to pay for 1 year for the 17-year-old, and you have to pay for 2 years for the 16-year-old. Minimum. Like, even if they go to college, I think the boys, they would say, no, we're going to stay with our dad. I think it'll change. I think she's only looking at 3 years, like $30,000 over 3 years, which he could probably cut a deal. If I were him, I would sit down with her and like, look, let's come up with our own arrangement. I'll give you 18,000, give you 20,000. I'll give you 20,000 right now cash. And that's just going to cover, your support for, until the boys are graduated or whatever. I would sit down and try to cut a deal if I were dude. Brother Jacobs in the building. What's good, fam? Appreciate you, man. Stuck in the ATL because my connecting flight is failing me. Yeah, man. Bro, it's weather out here. This is the worst time. If you're flying in Florida, like on the southeast or whatever, this is the worst time to fly, even through like Texas, the Panhandle and all that kind of stuff. This is summer, this is the end of summer. We get all the weather. So yeah, it sucks, bro. And at least you're in Atlanta, at least you're in the hub, man. You might be able to find something else. I'm not sure where you're going, like, but you might be able to find another flight. You might have to connect one more time. But at least you're in a good hub. Just imagine if you were, somewhere like Traverse City or something, you'd be just stuck. Like small airport. If you're in Cincinnati somewhere, you just stuck. That just you just don't have as many options. But at least in Atlanta, man, you got American Airlines down there, bro. You should Delta. I'm sorry, Atlanta's a Delta hub. You got Delta down there. You should be able to find something. But appreciate your support.
I did not move out, or we just needed some time apart. This is what I thought.
All right, you're still apart?
Yeah.
I'm just
I view it. Sorry, Toby.
What's that?
I view it a little bit different than he does, but in the end, I'm in the house and he's staying at his mother's, and the boys stay there during the week and they come here every weekend, which I don't quite think is, I'll take them anytime I can get them because they're my children. I want them with me. I don't even want to share half, but I know that that's what I should do for the children's sake. and for his sake, he's the father. But every weekend limits me when I have to work during the week. You know, I only have the kids during the weekend, but when am I supposed to also have my adult time? Because what the children told me was because I'm working so much during the week that they don't want to be here during the week because I'm not even here.
I want my adult time. Yeah, bro. She might be a heavy drinker. She might be a partier, even though she's older. You know, she still might be out there. Like, I still want to go out here and do my thing. I want my adult time. Okay. All right. You want your adult time. There is no adult time when you're a parent. The adult time is when, especially when you co-parent, your adult time is when you don't have the kids. Right? My adult time right now is on the weekends. And that's if my daughter decides to go to her mom. If she decides to stay home, there ain't no adult time this week. That's fine. Right? A lot of people I don't understand what these people had kids and they forget, bro. Like that's a full-time job, 24/7, 365. You know, I need my adult time. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It boils down to she's not making money. She knows he's making money and she wants it. She wants more money. I don't, she's going to be saying, I don't think it's fair that I have to work hard. I got to work all these hours. And she's not even working full time. It's like, I got to work all these hours and I can't be around the boys. They're in school, get a job. You're working while they're in school. So when you get off, they're off. You got to go out here and make it happen. And here's the thing, people, especially women, not all women, but there are women out there who's like, well, I can just get the court to take money from him to give to me so I don't have to work. And if they can get that, they'll get it. And again, child support is supposed to be support of the child, not support of the grown up. And Brother Pablo, here's the thing with divorce, man. I understand people divorce and I understand that it's difficult for them to split stuff up, but it shouldn't be a divorce court. It shouldn't be a judge who has the power to lock you up, right? It shouldn't be that. You should go into a system where they're just bean counters. They're looking at how much money y'all have. They're splitting the assets, and it should be default 50-50 unless one parent doesn't want that. If you got a parent who's like, I don't want to be around the kids at all, and I'm willing to pay X, fine. There's a system. When you go into the court system, they take income from both parents. They feed it into a machine, right? The computer spits out a number. That's how they all do it. There's guidelines all over. Every state has a variant of this. Right? It's a calculator. You put the information in, right? And then it spits out a number. That's how that works. You don't need a judge for that. Right? All the attorneys do that. When you sit down and talk to the attorney, they'll run it through the numbers. They just run basic numbers. Well, here's just the basic stuff. I mean, these numbers, the basic numbers are always plus or minus 10%, 15% from the real number, no matter what you put in there. There's nothing you can do that's going to change that number. So, it's not going to change it greatly. Like you put in the numbers, she's making this much, you're making this much. It might be off by plus or minus 15%, but that's pretty much it. And you're going to see that play out even in this episode here. We got Brother Tez in the building. What's good, fam? Let's continue.
And I was like, you do realize that I'm busting my butt so I can provide for you guys to have a home to come home to. I'm doing this for you. And why am I getting punished?
The ridiculousness of this statement is going to become exceptionally true to you in the next coming seconds. So you work through the week admitting that he has the children way longer than what you do. You have the house and you complain that you don't have adult time on the weekends. Ma'am, you're a mother. You just lied a second ago and said, I wish that I can have them all of the time, but you have them 2 days out of a 7-day week and you complain about adult time. Again, red flag. If I was in this damn Zoom meeting, I'd be like, yo, come on, Michael Payne, you're not listening to her at all? Are you not doing the mental math in your mind to disambiguate the bullshit? But this shit is wild that she said that she's been busting her butt. Pay attention.
So that's when it went to every weekend. And now I'm like, okay, so I'm not being punished, but the only time that I have any little bit of time off, and I work Saturdays. So I only have, a little bit of time with them on the weekends too. When adult time do I get, or when free time do I get, So I only want fairness, and I want my children as much as I possibly could have them. And I'm okay with 50-50.
All right. So ma'am, where are you working?
I work for Magic Touch Professional Cleaning. It's a cleaning company that cleans in different areas around where I'm at here.
Oh, how much do you make there?
$12 an hour.
How many hours a week?
It went from when I first started, or when he first left, I was making about around 25 at the most every 2 weeks. And now I'm at almost 60 hours for 2 weeks because I had to take on everything my boss would give me.
She's working 60 hours every 2 weeks. That's 30 hours a week. I thought you said that you were busting your butt, ma'am. The average American adult works 38.7 hours per week. Men work an average of 40.5 hours per week, while women work an average of 36.6 hours per week. She's complaining while not meeting the average, let alone average man time works, but even the average woman, she's not even meeting that. But she has not one, but 2 children, yet still complaining that she doesn't have enough adult time. But let's see if they ask why she can't be working full time.
And MCR is on point. He's absolutely right. Now, here's the thing. Again, there is no, when it comes to the money, they don't care about your gender. They only want to care who has the money and who doesn't. So they can take the money from the person who has it and give it to the person who doesn't. I've seen plenty of cases in LA where the woman is paying child support when a woman has zero custody and has to come in and pay. So there's that, but that was rare. I'm here to tell you the vast majority of the time it was the man paying child support and it was the man who was fighting for more custody. It was just horrific how that system works out there in California in particular. Again, every state is different. Here in Florida, you walk into a family court situation, the default here in Florida is 50-50 custody right off rip. So that's going to minimize child support no matter what. Doesn't matter how much money you make. You're going to be paying the absolute bare bones minimum amount in child support because you have your child half the time. Texas, their child support caps. So you look at someone like Elon Musk, he can have 15 baby mamas. He's only going to pay the cap on child support per month, no matter how much money he makes. So he could be making $600,000 a month and he's only going to pay like, I don't know, $2,000 a month in child support. That's the max. Whereas in California, he'd be paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month for the same child.
All right. You said you're working a lot. Is it the intent that you work? Is this considered full time then?
No, not full time. It's still part time.
Oh, could you work full time?
Not in that position. I've got everything he's giving me extra. I've asked him for extra.
Get another
I'm
job.
traveling extra distance so
Yeah,
I
get
can
another
try
job.
to, take care of myself. I've been looking for another job, but I am struggling with everything, trying to stay afloat and trying to get a vehicle. I've been borrowing a vehicle because
I ain't trying to hear it, man. She could work at Walmart. She could work at Waffle House. She could work at McDonald's or Burger King, right? And she could pick up another 15 to 20 hours there if she really wanted to. She could be working there while, she's talking about, well, when the kids come home, I got to go to work late or whatever. You can be working early. You can work the early shift. She looks like a waitress.
he took the only running vehicle that we had. So I kind of had to figure all this out.
He
It's
gave you the
been
house and he took a car.
process. I
Jesus.
got to do one thing before the next. But that has been.
And peep what she said. He took the working vehicle. So she got the house and at least one other vehicle. Did y'all peep that? He took the one working vehicle that we had, and he used that vehicle to go out and secure himself a nice career where he's making $80,000 a year. She has the house. Get a HELOC, baby. Borrow money against the equity. Right? Take your other car, sell it, go trade it in and get you a car. Man, she ain't trying to do it. It is what it is.
My intention. That's why I've been trying to get as many hours. I'm doing what I have to do. So.
Right. Struggling to stay afloat, doesn't have the children most of the time, but now has child support. What do you think she's using the money on? This is not spousal support. This is child support. It's supposed to be for the children. But let's see what other excuses she has.
And sir, where do you work?
I work for Butler Communication as the director of engineering.
How much do you make there?
80,000 yearly. And what the boys told me is it's just they go to school, and then when they get home from school, she leaves. So what's the point of them being
over there
home or them alone there when they could be with me? Is kind of the, and if she has a day off, they're more than welcome to go there. It's not that it's a fight. To me, it's common sense. I guess they might as well be with one of us.
So, ma'am, where are you going at night?
That's when I work. Most of the businesses we clean, I have to wait until after 5 for everybody to leave to clean them. But there are some, like we have apartments that we can do the stairwells, at like 3:30. So on a couple of my days, I have to leave, or, I can have time to pick up the boys and get them home. And then I would have to go to work. And then other days I don't have to leave. I'll be home with them for an hour before I have to leave. And then I'll be home. Some of them I only work, just a few hours a night. And then I got a couple hours with them at night before they go to bed.
So you want half custody for more
But that
money.
is the same for, I work every Saturday. I get one Saturday off a month. I clean Chevy. I'm gone for 3 hours. So
And I just want to make a correction. I've been saying Colorado because I think MTR said Colorado or is going to say Colorado at some point in this video clip. But I'm looking at the state seal. This is Michigan, and I'm listening to their accents. This is Michigan, guys. They're in Michigan. I'm looking at the seal in Michigan. I'm looking at the seal behind dude. I'm listening to their accents, and I'm like, oh, this don't sound like Colorado. So this is Michigan. So $80,000 in Michigan is really good. I'm betting that they're in northern Michigan. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Muskegon or something like that. But anyway, that's my take on it.
Every day is going to be interrupted because this is what I have to do. This is the only option for work for me right now. I've been there for 4 years, so it was never
How long have you guys been separated?
Since the day before Thanksgiving last year.
Oh, so we're talking like 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been trying though. I mean, it's been an off and on thing.
What were you doing as far as parenting time for the 5 months up until the child support recommendation got mailed out?
We're trying week by week. It just, we're trying to pick them up and remember who picks them up every other day. And then the kids not knowing, they have to grab of course, kids these days, they got to have their phone, their charger, their, games for their computers. And then they had to run back to the other house to grab it. And it just was, so they made a decision to do week by week. And then, one wanted to go 1 week and we were trying to keep them together because, they're close in age. So they feed off each other.
I do.
So, I mean, it sounds to me that they were trying to co-parent. And the money issue, like, so they've been separated for 6 months, trying to make it happen off and on. I'm willing to bet that she's the one that wants the breakup, but then he got, because he lost his job and things got hard and she didn't want to, and I could be wrong, but things got hard. She got frustrated. It was like, man, you're a deadbeat, get out. He leaves, goes to his mom. He's still doing what he can to help. And then he gets this career job. He's making $80,000 a year. Boom. All their problems are solved. Again, that's a lot of money up there in Michigan. And now she's like, well, maybe we can work it out. And it seems to me that he's at least trying to work it out. Just if for anything, like he's probably like, well, I could do this for 2 years just until the youngest gets out, grows up and gets out of the house and maybe join the military, maybe go to school, maybe go to college, and then we can go. And apparently they got some sort of issue with their house. They can't sell the house, or they're in court fighting something to do with their home. So they got other issues, and he's the one paying for everything. They're going to mention, she's like, I'm paying for the lawyers for this thing over here. And, now that, you guys want me to pay, an additional $800 a month, around 400 for each kid. He's just trying to, stop the bleeding. And she's, it's not fair. It's not fair. I got to go to work. I need adult time and I need more time with the kids. And they don't want to be over here with me. It's not fair. Like, life ain't fair, shorty. What are you talking about?
I do believe they feed off each other, but Ty being the oldest, he's been, in my opinion, he's been making all this decisions, and then Cole just kind of goes along with it because you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to do anything to cause any problems. So he's just doing whatever Ty says to do. And no offense, Toby, but Ty and Toby are pretty close. So I don't know what is said when I'm not there. I don't know what impression is being put, upon me. But I don't know if that plays into any of that. But I know that Ty feels a lot of Toby's weight because they are connected in that way. So he feels for him more than what I think he would feel for me. So I don't.
And Toby's the dad. So she's trying to put it on the dad. Dad is over there poisoning their minds against me. They don't want to be over here with me. They want to be with dad because dad is saying negative things. That could be true. I don't believe it in this case. It could be true. I think the case is more that The boys are just tired of mom doing mom stuff, going off. You know, men and women are different. She's probably frustrated, maybe crying a lot. You know what I mean? Maybe just screaming about stuff from out of nowhere. And the boys is like, I'm going over dad's. You know what I mean? They'll sit there and let you scream at them for whatever reason. Who left the seat up? She starts screaming. All right, cool. You know, come Friday, man, we're going over dad's house and we ain't coming back till next month. Right? You ain't here anyway. And hopefully he raised his sons to the point where they're not raising, you know, they're not talking back to mom. They're just going to take it as men, go over to dad. And then dad probably has to talk to him like, hey, this is how it works, guys. You know, that's your mother. You know, you can't just leave her. You got to support her. Right. So I need y'all to at least go over there a couple days out of the week before you come back home and stuff like that. So I'm willing to bet that. But hey, we don't know because we're not in that house. We're not in this situation. And this dude, this Michael Page guy, who is the judge or whatever, he certainly doesn't care. And that's the biggest thing when you go before the family court system, that judge does not care about you or your family. They don't care. They have a workload. This dude, this Michael Page dude, he could have seen or heard, I don't know, 10 to 15 cases that day. Right? You could be number 15 out of 25 cases that day. Right? It depends on how fast the cases move and how many, you know, you don't know how many they got on the docket. Man, I've been there where people are sitting there waiting to be heard and they got to come back the next day or come back, you know, the judge like, well, come back, you know, come back in 2 days. Can you come back in 2 days and we'll make you number one or whatever. I remember once I had to go sit in the courtroom every day for a week because of special filings that were made about something so stupid. It was so stupid. And that's all in it. It's all in the case history. And they didn't do anything to the other side. Let me do some shit like that. Let me waste that much time. Had to go to the courthouse every day for a week. I had to miss work every day. I had to miss 2 hours. Actually, I wound up missing half a day each day because of the travel time and all that. It's like, what the hell? And y'all not even going to stop this? And every filing it was money involved. So, and I wasn't doing the filings, guys. So the whole court system is completely broken. They're only there for the money. They don't care about you. They can't possibly get into it. They're not going to remember you. If a judge remembers you, that's a problem. When you get to a point where a judge remembers you, like, oh, I know this case, that's a problem. That means you've been there way too much. Right. And here's the thing. It sounds like they're 90% there with the co-parenting. They're right there. She just wants to get paid.
I don't know. I don't know if that's why it's changed so much. You know, we started out doing this. Nope, I don't want to do that. Nope, I don't want to do that. Nope, I don't. So I'm like, I don't know what's even going to happen until it's already done. And I'm being told, we're not going to come only but on the weekends. And I was like, well, Ty, that's not fair. And he's like, well, I'm not changing my mind. And that's it. And I'm like, you know, what do I just cry? That's all I can do, you know?
So that was a mishmash of words. And what she's trying to do there is she's trying to direct Michael Page to the idea that the father is poisoning the well for the children, saying things, insinuating things, doing things as to paint her in a bad light. And she could say these things without any evidence. No direct communication from the sons telling her that the father is poisoning the well, no emails, no text messages, no written statements. She can just say that. And her saying that is the mark of an unaccountable person.
And this is why they call family court liar's court. That's not my term. Lawyers told me that. Like, man, this is liar's court. Everything she said is unfounded. If this is court, that's all hearsay. You can't say that shit. You need proof. You shouldn't be able to say that. Like, we're gonna stricken all that from the record. You're telling me that your sons don't want to hang out with you; they rather hang out with their father. That's all I heard. You know, and then you can't do anything but cry about it, which means you were probably frantic, yelling, doing all that spazzing out shit. And these teenage boys are like, man, I don't want to deal with this. I'm going over my dad's. You tripping. And it would be the same thing if dad was over at the house being all extra and screaming and yelling and smacking the boys around. Like, I ain't gonna deal with this. I'm going over mom's. So you got parents who are out here just doing a bad job of parenting. And now this woman right here, she's trying to get the court to force her sons to stay home, one, and two, get paid.
But I mean, the bottom line is, I don't know why the two of you wouldn't share parenting time on an equal basis. I mean, these two boys are children. They do what they're told. They don't get to necessarily make the rules in these types of circumstances. If you raise them together for 16 or 17 years and did week on, week off, or relatively equal parenting time for 5 months after your separation, you don't just get to change the rules because the support obligation didn't come out favorable. That really doesn't drive the parenting time determination. The parenting time determination or custody determination is what's in their best interest. And if there's really nothing other than their opinion, which I haven't talked to them, I'm just taking your word for it, them saying what they want to do. I mean, there are a whole lot of other factors that go into determining custody and parenting time than the.
And that shit right there. This dude right here, this Michael Page guy, knows that if I talk to these boys, they're going to want to stay with their dad. He can order that the the two boys come in and talk to him. He can say, I want to, or at a minimum, have them go with someone from the court and they can get a written statement. But they will bring the kids in, especially at that age. You got 16 and one's about to be 18. Hey, what do y'all want to do? They can do that. That is allowed within the family court system. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to take your word for it. I haven't talked to him. He can bring them in. Hey, who do y'all want to stay with? And they'll be like, look, we want to stay with dad, and this is why. Don't tell mom, we ain't trying to upset her, but man, she be spazzing out, yelling all the time. She's working. We were telling her like, hey, you can get another job. You can do this, you can do that. She's whatever. She's not listening. She's frustrated. She's crying all the time. She's trying to bring us down. We don't want to deal with that. And what they would do is they would bring the boys in and talk to them separate. They're going to talk to the oldest one and they're going to talk to the youngest one. They're going to talk to them separate. And then they're like, okay. And the judge will take that into consideration. Doesn't mean he's going to do it, but the judge will take that into consideration. Right? So one is about to be grown. One is a few months away from being able to enlist in the United States military, man, and go do America's business if he wants to. And the other one is just, 2 years behind him, maybe a year and a half, 2 years behind him. So now, man, this is how the system works. This is why you don't want to find yourself in this situation. If you're with someone, y'all got a family, it didn't work out. And if you can't stay together for the kids, just come up with a parenting plan that works. And then all you got to do is have a judge sign it. You guys come up with your own parenting plan. They present it to the judge signs it. Boom, it's done. Most states force you to go through arbitration before you can talk to a judge. Most states do that from my understanding. So every time you want to go talk to a judge, they have you go through arbitration first. You can't bring your lawyers in there. It's just you, right? And the counselor, like y'all sit there and y'all try to sit there next to each other. Sometimes like, hey, let's just work this out. Boom, whatever you guys work out with, that's the parenting plan. They take it to the judge right then, get it signed. Boom, this is it. This is the court order thing. This is what y'all came up with. And it's backed by the court. It's law now. Y'all got to do that. Fine. But you got people who can't even sit in the same room together. Right. And it's never both parties. It's always one is more extra than the other.
Than the children's opinion. That's just one. And if everything's been equal for, a decade and a half or almost 2 decades with these kids, I'm not seeing why any recommendation.
While true, they're still technically children and should not have a say. A 17 and a 16-year-old will have a preference on the parent, and that should be considered. If they're able to get a driver's permit and drive, they should be able to make a decision of where they want to spend the majority of their time. And in fact, in Colorado, there's a statute that reads, the more mature the child, the more weight will be given to their wishes.
Now, again, MTR was wrong on the state. If you look closely behind the judge or whatever, that is the state seal of Michigan. And you listen to the accents. These people are from Michigan. This is why I was kind of concerned. I was like, why is he talking about Colorado? But most of the laws are similar, especially when it comes to this. California has some statutes on the books to talk about this very thing. They don't give it a number in California. They simply state if the child is mature enough to understand, or words to that effect. So basically, if your kid's old enough to understand what's going on, they're going to ask. And that's generally around 8, 9, 10-ish, somewhere in there. If your child's old enough and mature enough to understand, they'll ask, the kid to come in and, the child can give their 2 cents or whatever. Certainly by the time you're, 16, 17 years old. Yeah. I mean, at that point, kids can, divorce their parents at that age. You know, they can ask for to be emancipated or whatever. So and get child support paid to them direct, which is crazy.
However, Colorado family courts do not necessarily equate age with maturity. The law says that a child should be sufficiently mature to express reason and independent preference about the parenting schedule. Specific to the age of 16, teenagers reaching a driving age are no longer children who can be carted around. Therefore, their opinions carry more weight in court about who they live with. They have their own thoughts and desires and should be able to express them independently. This does not mean that the courts will entirely defer to an older teen's preference. A judge may disregard the choice if it runs counter to the teen's best interest. Yet another reason why I tell you guys that if you can afford a lawyer for these hearings who is trained to study the law, to be able to challenge the Michael Pages of the world on the bullshit that they talk, then please do so. Let's keep going.
You definitely want to get a lawyer. A lot of the stuff that he's saying to these two people, he's saying it because there are no lawyers present. Both these people are pro se, so he's going to get away with a lot of BS. Now everything is written down, everything is being recorded by the court recorder. So if he does something inappropriate, and if he crosses any lines, you know, you can come after them. But it's really hard to get judges when they cross the line or whatever. At least in California, it was. I know of a couple judges who, you know, did go too far and they did get their leashes yanked, but they didn't get removed from the bench. They just got shuffled around in the system. They went somewhere else. They had another court somewhere. But and they were out there just destroying families and just really hurting people. So and here's the thing, the state doesn't want to admit wrongdoing. Because think about it, you might have a judge that saw 100 families and wrongly ruled 100 times and like crush people and, you know, have people get locked up and issue bench warrants, and they were wrong. So if the state admits to that, then the state's opened itself up to all kind of litigation, because now you can sue them. You can sue them for all kind of damages. So the state is going to protect those people at all costs possible. Appreciate that, brother Jacob. Yeah, please like the video. Don't be scared to speak about this here, y'all. That's the fact. That's the fact. We got Speed Shifter in the building. What's good, fam? You messed up. What'd you do, bro? You gonna get terminated from what? What are you gonna do, bro? Andy, can I talk to you about India tomorrow? Maybe like I'm free when I'm doing the podcast. So from 5 until 7, if you want to jump on the podcast and talk about what's going on, bro, we can talk about it. I don't know how I can help you, but I will most definitely. I wouldn't mind listening to your story, bro. Hit me up on Instagram, fam. If you're on Instagram over there, it's I Really Want to Know podcast, all one word. Hit me up on Instagram, man. Shoot me a DM and let's see what's going on, man. Hopefully I can help you out. I have no idea what's going on. You know, but the Terminator word, bro, and you live in a different country, bro, that can mean a whole lot. So you be careful. Whatever's going on, man, you be careful over there. But yeah, let's get back to the video.
You or the other that would tip the scales for some reason other than the children's preference.
I didn't change anything because of the child support or anything like that. The only thing I did is say I was going to go for full support, and I wanted them to understand why. Because I tell them all the time that they need their mother in their life, and
I don't know what that means. You told them you're going to go for full support. I don't know what you mean by that. That's not.
He does know what it means. He's just playing the game. This is why you got to go in there with an attorney. And what the dude Toby just said is disingenuous. He's like, look, I'm requesting full custody. I want, 100% custody or whatever I need to do so I can minimize the support that's going to be ordered. So yeah, you are trying to minimize the child support. Who wouldn't? Why would you want to pay $30,000 over 3 years? Why would you want to do that if you don't have to? And you're paying it to a grown-up that's not even going to the kids. Again, I would strike a deal. With old girls. Like, hey, I'll pay you this much money. Because if I got to pay child support, then I'm going to pay the money directly to my boys. I would get the court to back that. Like, you know what? I'm just going to pay the money directly to my sons, and I'll put the money into accounts, and we can put it on debit cards, and they can, they'll have money. And if they need food or clothing or whatever they need, they could do that. If they need to pay for the light bill or the cable bill for the house, they can do that. And we can see what they're paying for. I would do that. I would keep the money out of her hands. right? And you can sit down and negotiate with her. And here's the thing. And she's like, you think the court will go for that? I would have a lawyer. Lawyer's like, yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make sure we get it this way. These boys are mature enough. One is about to be a legal adult. So yeah, they can handle their own money. You know, so yeah, this money is not gonna go to you. This 30 grand is not gonna go to you, it's gonna go to them. So cut a deal with her. Like, we'll give you 15,000. We'll give you $15,000 and just make this, we'll make this case go away.
Vernacular I'm familiar with.
What the lady, or I think she said full physical custody. That's what it was. She said if full physical custody, then they would make a redetermination on the child support. And
So
so
the overnights would change, so that would change that. But what are you basing your full physical custody on?
that they were here with me.
But you both have agreed that they spent an equal amount of time with both of you up until like a month or so ago.
No, they were with me for the first month, and then they started trying to do the day by day. We've been just trying to work it out. It's been all over the place,
Mhm.
so that they're
Dude,
with both
you're
of us.
trying
but
to reduce the
It
child
hasn't been
support.
exactly
Just
equal.
say,
It's just
yeah,
been
I'm
trying to figure it out
reduce it.
as we figure us out.
Notice how to the man, this guy is a lot more accusatory.
Right, but
Facts.
you got to understand there's 16 or 17 years of history of equal time. I mean, unless one of you's abusive or a drug abuser or
Yeah,
look at
there's
things that would severely tip the scales in favor of one of you or the other. I mean, you both live relatively close to each other, both in the same school district. If there's nothing really to say that they should live with one of you over the other than they're just kind of gravitating toward one. I mean, like I said, that's one factor out of 12 that I have to consider when I determine custody. And then after custody is determined, we talk about parenting time. But
That part right there. He's telling you, I get to decide what happens with you and your family. He's like, that's one factor out of 12 that I have to take into consideration when I decide what happens with you and your family. This is the problem. It should be 50-50, and the child support should be minimum, if any. In this situation, there shouldn't be any child support. Like, hey, well, mom, if you need more time to make more money, well, we'll let the kids stay with dad while you go out and make the money. And then just try to get yourself consecutive days off, and then we'll have the boys come over on those days off if they want. Something like that. We're not talking about, 5 and 6 year olds, you know what I mean, or 5 and 8 year old. These young boys are about to be legal men. But this is the part, you got some stranger telling you what's going to happen with your kids. This is a serious problem.
I don't know. I don't see why after all that time it wouldn't be equal if that's what it was for all those years you're together. And then for some period of time after you separated, I guess I'm trying to wrap my mind around what you're going to try to prove that it shouldn't be, or that you should have full physical custody, as you've indicated.
The reason why it's hard for you to wrap your mind about it is because you're a sucker. The kids are mostly with him. So in an effort to lower his child support, of course, he's going to want to ask for full, if not 80% custody, because he knows what we all know, which is what you should know, is that she's not utilizing the money that she's currently receiving for child support.
The relationship between the parties, the home environment, the family unit, the children's preferences. One, there are 12 factors. I got to look at all of them when I determine where kids are going to live.
Oh, and I haven't, done any of that. I don't even know the laws about it. I just was going off
why you
what
need
she
a lawyer.
said and what it made sense to me. So,
It sounds like that was driven by child support. You didn't like the child support, so you talked to her about how you could get that done. She said, well, more overnights would reduce it. And then you kind of tailored your argument because of that. But that's really not a determination. I mean, you determine the custody first, which you guys all kind of did on your own, and then the overnights fall where they may when you go ahead and you do child support. Now, I did pop the new numbers in because she was running minimum wage before. I put in the $12 an hour, and I can, if the kids are taken off Medicaid, I can back out that ordinary medical, and it would be $349, which is a little bit less than I think the original recommendation. But you make a whole lot of money, and I don't know.
Yeah, but
You hear that part? You make a whole lot of money. I've heard that before. I've heard people say you make too much money. Right? It's a money grab. This is why I'm always stressing, if you have something to lose, if you're making a lot of money or you have money put away or you have, a really nice stock portfolio and all that kind of stuff, bro, they're going to come after you, man. Wherever they see the money, they're going to come after you and try to figure out a way to take it. So your structure, how you structure that, how you organize all that is really important. That's what, LLCs and trusts and stuff like that. You got to put that money somewhere where it can't be touched, because once they see it, they're coming for it. Like dude just said, you make a lot of money. What does that have to do with anything? I'm taking care of my sons. Now you want me to take care of her because I got a nice career, right? I'm telling you, she's the one who ended the relationship. I guarantee I'm willing to bet anything. She's the one who wanted to end the relationship, and now she's salty. And this court is like, well, we're going to use child support as a reason to take money from you and give it to her. Why not give the money to the boys? This is why y'all got to be careful out there. This is why you got to understand the game, period. And if he had a lawyer, had a good lawyer, that lawyer would have took care of this. It would have been cut and dry, boom, 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 we're done. We're done. She probably wouldn't even went before the judge. She just would have signed the papers like, hey, man, just do this. Because if we go before the judge, I'm going to ask for all this over here. You ain't going to really get nothing. But if you sign this right here, we'll go ahead and give you this little bit right here. Right? And again, this is supposed to be what's in the best interest of the sons. Right? These two sons, it seems like it would be in their best interest to let them stay with their dad 80% of the time. That's what it seems like. Why not? Why wouldn't this Michael Page say, I need to talk to these boys? Let me talk to these boys and find out what's going on with them. Maybe there is some drug or alcohol abuse involved. Maybe she ain't touching nobody. Maybe she's abusing herself. Maybe there is some psychological trauma going on in that house with her trying to, get these boys feeling sorry for her or whatever. Maybe.
Honestly, when we broke up, I let her have the car. I paid for all that. I paid for her phone. I'm still paying for the house. I seen on the paperwork she put on there that she's saying paying $710, but I'm the one supporting all the bills for the house.
Who left me the car?
At first, but the house is the big thing. I got $4,000 into the lawyer right now, and he wants another $4,000, and I mean that's a lot of
lawyer. Is one of you filing for divorce?
No, it was our land contract. The lady, she can make a lot of money if she gets the house back after we just paid $200,000 for it.
We're in the middle of a lawsuit with her because the daughter took over PR for the lady we were buying it from.
Before she explains that, again, no talk of her taking more hours, no talk of her getting a better job, no talk of her getting multiple jobs. It's all about his success. He makes a lot of money, which is why I started off this conversation of no matter the work, the effort, the education that you put in, if you get on the wrong side of the system and if you have someone taking advantage of that, then none of that will matter. This is rewarding someone who doesn't work as hard. Children like them less, while accusing the man while letting her off of the hook. It's absolutely diabolical work, and you're watching the unevenness within the family court system right before your eyes.
Because she has dementia, and so she wanted to sell it, and we hired a lawyer. So we're trying to be compatible and work with the lawyer to save the house. But I am in the house, and he's not. Right at this.
You got to understand, this is a DS case filed by the prosecutor. That's a case to determine child support. Custody and parenting time can go along with that. Property settlement does not. If you want to settle any property issues, who's going to pay for what during your separation? Pay the bills, pay the house, who gets the house, who gets the stuff, who gets the car. None of that falls under the jurisdiction of the case that is currently open. One of you would have to file a divorce action for any of that to be decided by the court. Okay.
You see all the confusion is jumping off. The Michael dude understands what's going on. This is a money play. Look at little shorty. She's talking about she makes about $12 an hour and she works about 30 some hours a week, right? So we put her in like 30 hours a week at $12 an hour. She's grossing about $1,400 a month. Grossing. So you look at after taxes, she's probably bringing home around $750, $800. Right? Somewhere in there. You guys check my math if I'm wrong. She's probably bringing home around that, right? Depending on, taxes and all that. So basically, getting $400 a child in child support, that's $800 a month. That basically doubles her income. That doubles her income. So now she's going to, instead of grossing $1,400 a month, she's going to be grossing around $2,200 a month. Now, who benefits from that? She does. The boys are already eating. They're getting clothes. Dad's taking care of everything. He's got all of the medical insurance taken care of. He's probably paying for all of the athletics and stuff like that. So mom's just like, if I get this money, right, it's a double up. She's going to keep working. Right? She's going to keep working. So, and here's the thing. If she didn't want to work, if she's making it, with the amount of money that she's making from this $12 an hour job, right? Remember, she's grossing 14, so she's probably netting close to what the child support would be. So in theory, she could stop working and just live off the child support. She wouldn't have to go out the house, which is what she's shooting for. I mean, more growing up time, more time with the boys. Remember what she's saying? Well, if she's living off the $400 gross, $1,400 a month gross, well, she's about to get $800 net because they don't take no money off of that's tax-free money. So she's getting $800 from him a month, which is probably a little bit more than what she's netting working. So, and if she's been able to live on that, then she's gonna double her income, or she can quit her job and sit around and do nothing. It's win-win for her.
I think what he was trying to say is that he couldn't afford the child support and stuff when he has to pay the lawyer fees because I can't pay the lawyer. He's been paying the lawyer to try to save the house, I think is what he was meaning.
All right.
Am I right, Toby?
Yeah. And then I was off for almost 4 months, so I've just been trying to catch up, and it's just been rough.
And that's another thing. They're fighting to save the house or make money off the house or whatever. He's paying for that lawyer. So because he's dealing with that, he can't pay for an attorney to come in here and help him out with his family court matter. She's benefiting from that. So if he gets the lawyer paid off so they can fix the situation with the house, she's going to get paid on that, right? She's going to get paid child support, which is going to come straight to her. She's going to get paid on that. And she can either double up her money, like save it, or she can quit her job and not have to worry about working. Man, she got all the bases covered. Again, I ain't mad at her, man. This is the game. Know the game, gentlemen. Y'all need to know what y'all getting yourselves into. Know the game. She winning because she understands the game. She know he can't pull in. If it was an attorney involved in this on his behalf, if it was an attorney involved, yeah, bro, it'd be all kind of problems, right? She'd be having all kind of problems. But because they went in there pro se, this dude went in there, not understanding how the game works, thinking, these people are going to be fair. Nah, ain't nothing fair about the family court system.
Well, I guess you've got another hearing with me on Wednesday, right? With
Yes.
child support. Yeah. I was hoping to kind of be able to wrap it all up at once, but that's set for 9:30 on Wednesday.
I thought they were going to combine the two. I have no idea. I've never done this before. It's blind for me as well.
I guess, ma'am, are you going to go to the department and see about taking the kids off Medicaid now that they're?
Yes, I will definitely do that. Yeah. Yes.
I think the date was 2/13. I signed them up, and I think it effective after 30 days. Should have been 3/13, I think is date.
All right. And then, sir, if child support was $349 a month, are you all right with that, or would you still be objecting to that?
I mean, I'll pay wherever they want to stay. I mean, I just don't want to pay alimony if they're here, and I'm paying for everything for them.
You can't pay any.
Yeah, it's not. He keeps talking about alimony. He keeps mixing up the terms, and the Michael Page guy keeps trying to correct him a little bit or whatever. So old boy had no idea what's going on. And they do that to you. They'll say, oh, is this amount okay? Is $349 okay? I'm like, well, how about $49? I think $49 is okay. Why are you asking me, bro? This is why this shouldn't be court. And maybe that has something to do with it. Well, you agreed to pay this. I wonder what would happen if he said, I don't think that's okay. I think $200 a month is more than reasonable, right? Per child. I think that's $400 a month. Cut it in half. I'm paying for everything anyway. If they need anything, I'm buying their clothes. I'm paying for their food. I take care of their entertainment. If they need something, I'm already paying for it. So I wonder what would have happened if, under Michigan law, if he'd have said, no, I don't agree with that.
The alimony in this case, you could only pay that in a divorce case. This is strictly child support. It's not alimony. Alimony is spousal support. That's separate and different totally from child support.
So can I ask you, I don't want to be the jerk, but is it because if someone's on assistance, they they go after the money? Or because I mean, if the kids are here 50-50,
Right.
even
Good
if it
question.
was exactly 50-50, I'm paying for them here, they're paying for them there.
Yep.
How does one person have to pay it? Like, I wouldn't expect Candy to pay me child support if I had them 50% of the time.
If she made 80,000 a year and you were making $12 an hour, we'd be having the exact same conversation, except she'd be the one recommended to pay.
So okay, so it's
That's
just
a fact.
okay. So it's equaling out the.
That's a fact,
parent.
guys. He's not lying.
It's equaling out the financial resources available in both homes, and it still wouldn't be equal. I mean, if you're paying $350 a month and you add that to her $12 an hour, that doesn't come close to 80 grand a year.
No, but
To compensate for me not working enough to pay for my part is what that's where his head is.
It's just to make sure that both houses have the financial resources to sustain the children for the time they're there.
But see, that's the thing they do, right? Because she can't sustain them, but he's paying the overflow. He's taking care of everything. They're right in the same area pretty much. So there should be no money. You're giving money. You're taking money from the person who has it, and you giving money to the person who does not. And you're not requiring the person you're giving the money to spend that money on the children. That's the problem. That right there is the problem. Right? Yeah, the guy has plenty of money to take care of his sons, and that's what he's doing. She wants money. Okay, cool. She wants, or the ability to spend more time with her sons, which means she doesn't want to work. So she wants the $800 coming from him. So he's now paying for the utilities, for groceries, for whatever else, her entertainment, whatever else is going on in that house. So he's paying for the house, he's paying the taxes on the house, and he's paying for, basically, he's still taking care of everybody, even though they're not in a relationship, and he's out. And the boys want to be with him and not her. Y'all see how the game, man, is crazy. It's crazy. I see you, brother player 1258 in the building. What's good, fam? Talking about the family law court system, man. Don't get caught up.
Mainly, it comes down to income and overnights are the two big contributing factors to child support.
This chick chills throughout the day. Some nights per week, the boys may come over. She leaves right after then to go to work. Somehow within his cockamamie mind, he's still thinking that this is 50-50. Oh, by the way, the kids don't even like her like that. She talked about earlier about building a bond with her children. They're 16 and 17. The bond is already built. The amount of evidence to support that this is child support scam is so damn clear, but the state apparently supports it.
Well, I had to talk to the prosecuting attorney. I had to make a call to her because Toby, he wanted me to drop the child support. And I said, Toby, I didn't actively go after you for child support. I can't drop it. And so I talked to Linda, and she, it's not up to you. She said, that's not even a possibility. I said, I know, but, I just had to ask it because he's on me about, and I don't want to, we've been trying to figure out how to make it work. It's next month will be 18 years. This was never what our plan was, to be separated. Now we just have to figure out how to deal, and it's been left up to the kids, which the kids, they're boys, they side with their father. And I get that. I'm trying to not hold a grudge against that, but at the same time, they're naive. They're children, they don't know the underlying factors of what's going on. They've seen a lot of our arguing, but they've seen a lot of his reactions, and they didn't see mine because I was hiding away crying, not bringing them into my feelings, because it's not their problem to bury or carry, I didn't want them to see it. So they would see what he was going through, but they wouldn't see what I was going through because I'm a closet crier or a bedroom crier, And so when it all happened, they thought I was just, for lack of better terms, the bitch, kind of.
There it is.
So I don't know if that had something to do with it, or I don't know, because I can't be, that fly on the wall when they're having conversations over there. I just know that their relationship is closer with him than it is with me, but I don't think that should factor into parenting time,
So there it is right there. She knows what it is. She knows what she was doing in that house. She knows what them boys witnessed. She knows what her ex endured. I'm telling you, he's not the one that initiated this breakup, bro. I'm telling you, this is that woman. Look at her, bro. Hey, look at her. That lady right there, right, broke up from this dude right here. This guy, and people talk about like the red pill and all that kind of stuff. Men want women who are, feminine, right? Fit. They bring peace, right? They're attractive, right? That's what men want. You think he's getting any peace in the house with her, and he stuck with her for 20 years, almost like 18 years? He stayed there, and you telling me that the dudes are the problem? Man, look, man, I'd have been gone. No way. Like, all right, bro, maybe you slipped up with the first one. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Then you had another one, but they ain't had no more after that. That's when he was like, uh-oh, he probably got fixed. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Men will do almost anything just to have, access to women, sexual access to women, bro. Right? That's what he's in it for. He's like, well, I was getting constant sexual access or whatever. She probably was taking him through it. Look. There's no way I'm going through that, bro. There's no way. And look at him now. It's gonna cost him an additional $30,000 over 3 years just because he thought he was like, well, I'll just get this, at least I'm gonna get some, sexual access, consistent, sexual access. And I bet you he couldn't even get it whenever he wanted. Or maybe she's crazy with it. Maybe she's got like great sex or whatever. Maybe that's what kept him around. But it had to be something, man. It certainly wasn't her looks.
That's great. You guys have a bond. What about me? When do I get a chance to establish a bond without him there? Since that's the case, so I can learn to, be able to talk to you guys and stuff. They'll have a conversation with him, and I'm like, hey, how's
These
it
are
going?
damn
Good.
near men.
What would you do today? Oh, not much. And I'm like, I don't feel like we've had that chance to get that connection because
What?
they had that connection with him. If that makes sense, you know what
No,
I
it
mean?
doesn't make sense.
So all I want is
If she was talking about 5 and 6 year olds, maybe 8-year-olds, I would understand. But ma'am, they came out your uterus 16 years ago. You had plenty of time to bond. All of a sudden now it's they must from some reason out of nowhere summarize me as a bitch. I wonder why. Just a couple of seconds of hearing you speak, I'm already like, how did this guy deal with you?
Facts.
that time. Ty is 17 years old. He'll be graduating next year. I go literally in my mind 1 year before he's an adult and he's on his own. This is my last time to connect with him. It's a crucial time in their lives, both of them. But my time is running out and I don't want to lose it.
Yeah. So
Them boys ain't gonna fuck with her, bro. Them boys ain't gonna be messing with her. There's a reason behind it. They saw something ain't right. Kids know the difference between right and wrong. They understand that. Teenagers understand that, right? It's tough. Parents aren't perfect. I know I'm not perfect. It's tough. I do the best I can. I let my daughter know I love her. And if I make mistakes, I made the mistake. It is what it is. But no matter what, I love you. Anything I'm doing for you. And I believe my daughter knows that. And that's the best I can do as a parent. But she sees what's going on. She sees what's going on in both households. She's seeing the game. She understands it. She's listening. She's walking around down there now listening to me. She's hearing it. Right? And she knows at the end of the day, she can come talk to me. If my daughter tells me she wants to be with her mom all summer long, then that's what's up. She should be with her mom. Right? Do I want her to be with me? Yes, I want her to be here. I want her to be with me. I want my daughter every single minute, every single day, because soon she's going to be grown and she's going to be living her own life and I'm not going to see her as much. So yeah, I want my daughter around as much as possible. But at the same time, her mother wants the same thing. And I'm not going to sit here and try to take away that from her. Right? Am I going to do it? And, so that's the sacrifice you make as a parent. This woman, it's like, look, my kids don't want to come over here and I need money. So I'm going to run this play. And the system is right there. Like, cool. We're going to take money from dude. We're going to take about $30,000 away from this guy. Right. And give it to you over the next 3 years. That is absolute bullshit. Brother IRS is in the building. What's good, fam? It should be made into law that women must show to the court exactly what child support was spent. And if she buys useless stuff, there is some kind of penalty. Yeah, but the way the law reads now, you can't even ask how they spend the money. You cannot demand, you can't ask, can't demand. They're like the other party can spend that money however they see fit. Yeah, and most child support is paid for man and woman, but that's starting to change because women are making more money. So some child support is being paid from woman to man. But I think that it shouldn't be court, like I said before. Let's finish.
Is he a junior right now or a senior?
Junior.
All right. So when he turns 18, he's not really subject to the custody or parenting time orders anymore. Once he's an adult,
Right.
he can do what he wants. Support can go until the end of his senior year as long as he's doing all right and living with one of you. But 18-year-old, like I said, he's an adult. He can decide where he wants to go. He wouldn't be really subject to the custody or parenting time orders anymore.
Right. Well, he can do that now being 17, can't he?
No, really not until 18. So
Oh.
yeah.
Well, in my mind, that's what I mean. I know 17 or 18, but you can, be an adult and leave home and do all that stuff when you're 17. So I think that's where his mindset's at. Like, I can make my own decisions,
No. What do you mean he can leave home at 17 years?
Well, if he got emancipated, he could, Kenny, but
If he got emancipated, sure. 14-year-old could get emancipated if the judge ordered it, but absent that, 18 is the age of majority. If you didn't provide for your child, your 17-year-old child, up to a certain standard, the department can step in and file a neglect action. So, I mean, 17-year-olds are still kids and they're still subject to the court's order.
that's how I feel. But I don't think that's how he's viewing it quite.
Yeah. So at this point, based on the evidence I've heard, the history and what's led us to this date, as far as the two of you and your parenting of the kids, I don't see anything that would weigh heavily in favor of one of you or the other to order anything temporary on a temporary basis other than 50-50, as that's been the status quo essentially up until very recently. The parenting time would be, does week on, week off work best or some other arrangement?
I'm open to whatever I can get. I will figure it out.
Okay. I'm not setting this for a review in a while and see how things are going.
And I don't think that's fair. I don't know.
All right. And I guess I'll qualify my previous statements about them still being minors and being subject to the orders of the court and, doing what you tell them. But, in these types of cases, we regularly run into kids that are a little more strong-willed and don't always do what their parents tell them. And, I don't know how if they really want to stay there, I don't expect Mr. Two-Williger to, tie him up and throw him in the back of the car, take him, dump him in the front yard and say, you're going to your mom's, just like I said. I mean, they're probably, almost grown men too. So, I don't want to create a situation where it's going to cause, physical confrontation just to get it to go. But based, like I said, based on the history, you've raised them together for all these years. You've not really either of you told me anything that could cause me to favor one of you over the other and making a determination that they should stay with one of you more than the other. So it just makes sense to continue the equal time.
so how do we make them? You say, not like you said, I can't tie it up. I mean, he's about as big as I am.
Yeah.
I mean, and like Candy, she's like, well, persuade him. I'm like, how am I supposed to persuade a 17-year-old that wants to game and is all gaming stuff's over here? And I'm out of town. I mean, I go out of town to start at work in South Carolina for a week and I'll come back.
Well, I don't want you staying home alone by yourself. Go over to your mom.
Well, grandma's.
Exactly. Well, he said, I told him we had agreed that when he was out of town, they were going to come with me. And then when he was going out of town, well, they said they wanted to stay here. I told them they could stay here or they could
take their girlfriend away. I don't know, whatever it is.
I'm not trying to force the children to do anything. I am fighting
Yes,
for my
you are.
time with them. There's a difference.
I wasn't meaning that, Candy.
All right. Well, at least on a temporary basis, I'm going to enter an order of parenting time on a 50-50 basis. I'll say as the parties agree. So the expectation is that it equals out, but I'll let the two of you work out the semantics of that. And I'll see you back here on Wednesday for the child support determination.
All right, so you guys.
So shout out to MTR again. Shout out to MTR. Brother MTR does good work over there. Y'all saw that, right? That's how it works. I know of a person who went through the family court system. The woman made about $30,000 less than the guy, right? So the money was in the 100,000s, right? So the woman made less, but she did really well, and the guy made, like I said, $30,000 more. So so just keep it in your mind. Like, let's say she's making 100 grand, he's making like 130, 140 grand. Excuse me. 50-50 split. Right. That's what the guy was trying to get, a 50-50 split. But the female was trying to get the vast majority of custody because it would increase the child support. Now, based on how much they made and with a 50-50 split, the woman would still receive about $1,000 a month in child support, $12,000 a year. With the 50-50 split, the way the numbers worked out, the way it came out of the machine, the woman would still get like $1,000 a month in child support, which was ridiculous because she's making six figures too, right? Again, this is why you need caps. You need financial caps on eligibility. Like if you're making $80,000 or more as a single person, you shouldn't be eligible for any child support. That's my take. Any child support should be voluntary. Like, so that makes you be nice. You want some money, be nice, right? Maybe the guy or the girl will give you money. So even though she was eligible for a $12,000 a year, another $1,000 a month child support, this woman was doing everything she can, staying in court to keep the child away from the other parent, so she would get like 90% or more of custody, which was like another $1,200 or $1,400 a month in child support, something like that. I think it totaled out to be, well, it's like $1,100. It was like another $1,100 a month. So she winds up her total child support was like $2,100 a month, and the child doesn't get to see the other parent. The child doesn't get to have a relationship with the dad, but she gets to get this, just $2,100 a month. So $24,000 a year is, ish, $25,000 a year. So this is what happens when you monetize children and you dealing with someone who doesn't care about the child. Really, they only care about the money, and you have a system that backs that person, be it male or female, because it could go either way, guys. Right? Yeah, typically it goes from male to female, but it could go the other way. But the point is, if the system was there to ensure the best interest of the child, why would they allow this? This is why you got to change the law. This is why you have to take the decision away from the Michael Pages of the world. You got to take the decision away from the judges. You got to take the power away from them. It's like, nah, it's 50-50 custody. And if you make over X amount of dollars a year, you're not eligible for child support. You're not eligible to receive child support because you make plenty of money. You make more than two people. Right? You got a situation where this woman is making more than the average household income. By herself, she's making more than two people. And you're going to take money from another dude or whatever and give her more money? No, that's the system is flawed. That should not be a thing. And like I said, certain states are doing it. Florida's doing it. Texas is doing it in their own ways. Florida, the default 50-50 custody. Texas, caps on child support. Tennessee, mandatory DNA testing to deal with those women who are lying. We know the child came out of that human, but who was the father? Well, she said it was that dude over there. Well, let's do DNA and find out. Right? It's slowly changing. And this is why men need to get more involved. And even women who, like looking out for their brothers and their fathers and their, sons and whatnot. And take to the polls and elect those people who are going to make these changes. Simple as that. If you do that, just like Florida did it, Texas did it, Tennessee's doing it, Kentucky's working on some stuff as well. Right? Ohio has some laws out there that kind of make sense when it comes to support and custody. Right? What you have to do is take that power away from these people that are sitting on a bench, these so-called judges that are going to sit there and decide what's best for you and your family. That is definitely a government overreach. That is one of the things I do agree with my friends on the right. Right? You definitely want smaller government in this instance. And people are like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, take the money out of it, bro. You'll be surprised how much of this stuff fixes itself if you take the money out of it. Take the money out of it. Right? And we'll see who cares about their kids. Take the money out of it. Now, I don't have all the answers, guys, but it's just the way the system is set up now is absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's that. So you guys out here who are, becoming visible, you're going from being invisible to being visible, and you are out here becoming the best version of yourselves, and you're getting yourself together, and women are beginning to see you. you have those qualities that women find attractive, be careful. Be careful, because this is how the system works. And if you get caught up, don't be mad. Don't get mad at her because you fell for her game. This is all part of it. You need to understand and master the game and understand the risk that you run. You want to get out here and smash some dimes? You want to get out here and mess with these 304s? Well, guess what? If she thinks you have a lot of money, she's going to do everything in her power to get your child so she could get into this family court system and try to get some bread, especially if you live in a state like California or New York. Right? Down here in California, down here in Florida, where the laws have changed, women know it. The top tier 304s know it. The top tier women know it. They're like, if I get married, or if I get pregnant, it's going to be a 50-50 split. They're still going to get paid. They're still going to get money. They just won't get as much money. So, and they're going to work their game. They're beautiful women. They're going to work the game. And they're going to keep you happy so you can continue to give them extra stuff or whatever. So just understand the game, fellas. Just know how it works. That's all you got to do. Be aware of how the game works. And if you get caught up, don't get mad at nobody but yourself, bro. Don't hate these women. Don't hate these players. Hate the game. So that's all we got for today, man. I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to talk about. I've been watching a lot of Michael Certain things, man. So I think I might have something we're going to talk about tomorrow. Yeah, I think I got something we're going to talk about tomorrow. So be looking for the thumbnail. I hope you guys learned something from this, man. And again, don't hate the game. Please, please, please don't hate the game. Understand the game. Learn the rules of the game. And then get out here, master your game, and get what you're looking for out of life, especially when it comes to relationships. Don't be mad at these women because they want the best. If you want women to want you, then you have to become the best. And that is how it works, my friends. So that's it. I ain't got any more time for you guys, man. I got to go. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.